Neil from Magpie Brewing. So we're in the brew room again today, and we're going to knock out a smash beer today. So we're going to use Golden Promise and Motueka hops. Pretty sure that's how you say it, Motueka. Never used them before, but Steve the brewman says that they're a widely misunderstood hop. So I looked up some info on them, and a lot of people say they're pretty good by themselves, so we're going to try them. And the Golden Promise mould, I've used Golden Promise before, always added to it, like I've put a bit of caramel or crystal or biscuit, or I've always added another malt to the Golden Promise, so I've never really got the flavour of it, you know, the taste of it. So I thought, do a smash. So we're going to do a smash beer today, and it's a 21 litre batch. Got to use the Guten 40, give it a run, and then after we're going to ferment it with the new ultra warmer that I purchased from Keg King. So we're going to put the snubby in a jacket with the ultra warmer at about 19-20 degrees with some verdant IPA yeast. And then after fermentation, we're going to use the 10 litre junior that I was gifted from Keg King to have a bit of a look at. They didn't request a review on the unit, but we're going to do one anyway. See how she goes. And we're going to, I've got an old fridge out the back, so we're going to bottle some and keg some of this beer, and then we're going to put the ultra warmer out the back in this old fridge and let them sit there at 16, 17, 18. I'll probably set the machine for 17.5, 18, and the ultra warmer, and we'll see how the ultra warmer goes. We're getting down below 10 here today, or now, so it'll be interesting to see if it can hold that. I just want it around 17. So okay, we'll get stuck into it and we'll knock this beer out. Okay, for our brew today, we're using the Guten 40 system, 40 litre system. I like to give it a run every now and then. And we'll be doing an automatic. It's an oil. Well, it's a golden ale really, because it's a smash beer, this one. So we'll go auto, and we'll just tune this bloke in. So with auto, we'll do 67 minutes, 67 degrees, 1 minute, 2500. Bit cooler here today, so we'll up the temperature of Old Taree Town, so it's a bit cooler, so we'll go, I reckon we'll go about 1500 to keep the mash at our 67. There we go, and we're only going to mash for 60 minutes. Golden Promise. So we want the timer, back it off, there we go, 78 degrees, yeah, that's fine, for 20 minutes at 2500, I keep it at full power for that. Then we're going to boil her up. I put 62 minutes on it just to give it time to get a rolling boil up actually. The last time I used this, I think I wanted 65. It still boils down the bottom, but I want that rolling boil on top for the start. 2500 watts, 65 minutes. I never worry about me hop additions, I do them manually. Bring it back up. Start her up. So we'll come back when that's up and around the temperature, and we'll put the grain in. Okay, we've got it up to, where is 64 degrees? So we'll just sit our grains in there. Now I've gone away from false bottoms. In the big 70 unit, 70 litre Guten, I've actually been just throwing all the hops in, and then doing a good whirlpool. But the whirlpool arm in the 70 litre Guten is really good. It goes nearly right down the bottom. I get a great whirlpool arm on the 40 litre system, even though it does go down a fair way. I don't seem to get as good a whirlpool out of it, so I'm just going to use hop bags today. I've got a hop spider. I might even use that. I mean, a little bit gets through it. It's fairly coarse. It's a mangrove jack, but I might use that. We'll see. But today, yeah, we're smashing one out today. So what we've got in there is Golden Promise, and we're going to use a hop that I haven't used before. So it's Motueka, a New Zealand hop. Steve at the Brewman tells me it's quite a good hop and a very misunderstood hop. So I've not brewed a lot with Golden Promise, and I've never brewed with Motueka hops. So this is why I like to do a smash beer when I try these different hops and grains. So we'll see what we come out with. So we'll smash her out. Alright, we'll put a bit of water on this and let it sink in, and we'll come back later. It's sinking down as it is, but we'll put a bit of water on it just to get it going. Oh, there we are, we're at 67 degrees. So I won't start it straight away, even though I could. I don't stir when I already got the grains in the hot basket, like the mash tun, like I did have, because I'll stir it about every 10 minutes through the mash, and I found I don't know, I get a couple of points out of it most times with most of the grains I use. See how we go with this. Normally a smash beer I would use Valoria Voyager, Valoria Schooner, but you hear a lot about Golden Promise and I wanted to try it, so hence we'll give her a shot. We'll give her a go. Alright, I'll put the top plate on, get a flow going, and we might come back and have a stir. Yeah, okay. Been going for a while there, so we'll just give her a bit of a stir. I've only got the pump going about a half, it's draining really well, so there's no real need to have it go much quicker. You only need to grab one. Alrighty, we'll see how she's packed in. Nah, I'm doing the mash at 3.5 litres per kilo, I've got 4.5 kilos in there, so with the figures for the Guten 40, it's a bit over 22 litres. I think I've actually put 23 in there, 24. Not that it matters, it just means that I'll need less water on the sparge. Okay, we're halfway through this, so we'll just turn that pump off and we'll give it a bit of a stir. This will be about the third time I've stirred it, and I must admit it's not compacted at all. The grain bed, it's the mash is a pretty thin mash. I generally I use 3.5 per litre. I know that I used to use 2.7, but I don't know, I've just found 3.5 to be a nice round figure, works well. I'll just get the grains off the top of that. And it doesn't seem to affect the efficiency. It actually, since I've been doing it, I'll probably get 1 or 2 points more, but I use Brewer's Friend as brewing software for my recipes and also my electronic devices to track the fermentations, and I only have it set for 70%. If I go over, it's a couple more percentage points of alcohol, but sometimes I get 72. Don't know what I'll get out of the Golden Promise. We'll soon see, I suppose, won't we? Anyway, that's nice and thin. It's I've had the tap running full, so I've had the pump on full, which I generally normally don't do, but getting a really good flow through it. It wasn't a real coarse mash, but crush, but it was I normally, you know, it was just a normal crush. When I've got the top plate in, I use my little fingers on the plate, even though it does sink a bit. They're my real guides, so if I get too far above them, that's when I'll turn the pump down. But I would expect it to go pretty much as the bed sinks a little bit, and as the water pumps, I would expect it to go just slightly above them. It's just above that one there. Still that one's under, but as the bed compacts down after stirring, it'll jump above it. But alrighty, so we've hit mash out, 78 degrees. We've got a little bit to go there. I normally don't give them much of a stir on mash out, and this one won't need much. I just took a refractometer reading then, and it was 1.057. So that's not too bad. We'll see what we get after mash out, and then we'll see what we get after I add the 12 odd litres. Normally after mash out I get a couple of points, so I expect 1.6, 1.61, which isn't too bad, and then it should come back down. I don't know, it's only a high 4% of this one, so see how we go. 4.5 kilo of Golden Promise. Anyway, we'll let it mash out there. I'll get some recert going on it and let it go. Okay, there we go. We've finished the mash out. Can hear a beeping there, so it wants this sparge. got a bit of rubbish on it, but I tell you what, it's gone very clear golden colour, which I suppose is a trade of the golden promise. So we'll get this basket up and we'll sparge, give it a bit of sparge, see how we go. I might just, before I do that, I might take a reading and see how I went, and on the refractometer, then we'll get that basket up. Okay, she's a pretty easy basket lift, this one. Don't even have to stand, oh, I shouldn't even have to stand on the top. There we go. Now with the 40 litre, it's a bit harder to see the actual volume you've got in it. You can if you muck around, but it said 12, so what I'll normally do, I've got a gauge on my grandfather here, so I've got 15 in there, so I'll just take it down to 5, which will give it 10, and then if I need to add more to the unit, I'll just put 2 in. 10's enough for a sparge. So we'll get that done and we'll come back when she's on the boil. Okay, so we're starting to get a roll and boil going there now. It's taken it about 3 minutes to come to the top, so we got, I set it for 65 minutes and it showed me it was doing 100, and it kicked it off, and now it's showing 63 minutes, so just takes it a while to get to the top, that's all. Okay, so we'll let that get rolling now. I've just put my hops in a hop bag, so it's all Motueka, and I'm going to do 60 minutes, which is now. There we go. And I'm going to do 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 0 minutes, and a 20-minute whirlpool. So I'll just peg this one down. There we go, and we'll let it do its thing. And I'm going to do them all like that in individual packets. So, yeah, the boil's just flowing over the top of them, and that's how it'll get enough out of them. And we'll come back when we're going, but as you can see, that boil's really going now. It's at 2500 watt, and okay, got a nice boil going there now. So now it's time for the 20-minute edition. So you can see what I've done. When I've used the hop bag, I let the hops soak a little bit, and then I let them free, free willy, free the hops, and it just circles around. So I reckon that's getting as good I reckon I'm getting as good as if I just threw them in the bottom there. So we'll do the same with these ones. It's a smaller bag, this one, so I'll put it a bit lower down, but I don't care whether it goes through or not straight away. And we'll just let them sink there. So that's a 20-minute edition. I've got a 10-minute whirl flop, 28 grams flame out, and another 28 grams for a 20-minute whirlpool. Okay, so we've got our boils finished now. So I've hooked my counterflow chiller pump up. And what I'll do, I'll just run some hot wort through it, because we're waiting to get it down to 80 anyway. Run some hot wort, I'll get I'll put it in a bucket and get last brew's water out of it, and then we'll put it in and cool the we'll run some cold water down through it and cool things off. Okay, that's the end of our whirlpool. I've taken the hops out of the whirlpool and just set them in my hop spider there, so but I would have got nearly everything out of them. So I'll kick this pump off and we'll start our transfer. I reckon we'll transfer at about 23, maybe 24 degrees, which is fine. I'm using Verdant yeast, Verdant IPA from Lowman yeast. As such, I don't really need to oxygenate the wort. Going to use my spindle in this fella for the ferment, and as we say, we're going to use the ultra warmer in our fermenter, in our bag cover, and got it set at 18.5, so I imagine it'll vary between 18 and maybe 19, but that's fine for Verdant. Got a dry hop on this fella. Overall we'll have 150 grams Motueka hops. So as you can see, I've got the tap full opened on the fermenter. It's coming through pretty quickly. I'll get me digital. I have sterilised it. And there we go, it looks like it's coming through at 23 degrees. So 23, 24 is that's a good temperature to bring it through. Now, seeing I'm pumping it out, I'm going to get a little bit of break in it, but that's cool. We don't worry too much about that. The yeast will look after that. And what I'll do, I'll take a refract and see how we went with it. I'll just get a bit of light on that. And that's showing me just under what my target was, so that's showing me 1044. Target was 1046. I did have a bit more water in there than I thought, but that's cool. That brings it down to about 4.6 if it ferments out, which will be it'll be a nice drink, I reckon. See how these Motueka hops go. Now, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right, wrong or otherwise. Motueka. And if someone needs to correct me, I'm fine to be corrected. But it don't matter what they call them, I'll be drinking them. So we'll come back, we'll watch this ferment. It'll probably be another video on the side, but we'll watch this ferment and see how she goes with the Ultra Warmer from Guten. Neil from Magpie Brewing, after another successful brew day, signing off and going to pour a beer. Cheerio.